from the Lakeside Newsroom of the Henrico Citizen, your hometown news source since 2001. This is the Henrico News Minute with publisher Tom Lapis.
A repeat winner in the Henrico Schools Spelling Bee, some more encouraging news on the COVID-19 front, and renovation plans for 2 East End cemeteries. We'll have details about those stories all coming up in today's Henrico News Minute for Tuesday, February 16, 2021. It's brought to you today by Henrico County.
And now for the news.
Well, some more good news on the COVID-19 front in Henrico, which yesterday reported just 77 new cases. That came one day after the county reported only 66. Its 7-day average of daily new cases declined again to 109, following a downward trend since a spike in mid-January. Only 1 new hospitalization and no new deaths related to the virus were reported yesterday in the county. Even though testing has decreased down to about 1,835 tests a day from about 2,500 a day 1 month ago, the county's positivity rate among those being tested also has dropped. It's down to 8.7% among PCR testing encounters and 7.3% for rapid testing encounters. More than 54,000 people have received at least 1 dose of COVID vaccine, and 12,000 or so have been fully vaccinated in the county. Meanwhile, yesterday, a University of Virginia study concluded that by last August, the number of actual cases of COVID-19 in Virginia likely was only about 2.8 times greater than the known number of confirmed cases at the time. The study found that only about 2% of Virginians had antibodies to the virus at that time. Eric Haupt, the chief of UVA Health's Division of Infectious Diseases and International Health, said that if those data points were used to project to today, officials would project that as of February, still fewer than 20% of Virginians may have been exposed to the virus. The August study was conducted among about 4,700 outpatients at 5 health systems statewide, including VCU Health in Richmond. Participants were selected to match the general demographics of each region. They were not being evaluated for COVID-19 during their visits to those health centers at the time. Only 101 of them were found with COVID-19 antibodies, and researchers determined that about 2/3 of those people were asymptomatic. Of the 141, 42 were Hispanic. Those found with antibodies were more likely to live in multifamily housing and to have had contact with a patient confirmed to have had COVID-19, according to researchers. Well, there's another repeat champion in the Henrico County Public Schools division-wide spelling bee. It's Ananya Nanduru of Moody Middle School. The 8th grader bested Holly Kim, a Wilder Middle School 6th grader, to win a tiebreaker on January 26th. This year's event was held virtually. Nanduru clinched the title by correctly spelling graticule, which of course we all know is a word that refers to the network of latitude and longitude lines on which a map is drawn. In actuality, that's a word that I've never heard before. Well, state lawmakers last week killed a proposal that would have allowed some special education students 1 more year of instruction because of the struggles of virtual learning caused by the pandemic. A House bill had proposed that high school students with special needs who are set to graduate this school year and who are 22 years old after September 30th of last year would be allowed to take an extra year and graduate in 2022. Students younger than 22 are automatically eligible for another year, according to the Virginia Department of Education. Virginia students with disabilities age out of the school system at 22 years old. Those older than 22 were dependent upon the bill if they wanted to attend another year of high school. But the legislation did not make it past crossover when bills must pass the chamber in which they originated. It passed out of committee but died in the appropriations process. T-Mobile has opened its new customer service center at the site of the former Sam's Club at White Oak Village in eastern Henrico. The company is bringing about 500 of its employees from the Short Pump area into the building and eventually plans to have more than 1,000 people working there. A Charlotte company bought the site in February of last year and made $30 million of renovations, which were completed in October. We've got some news of our own to share this morning. We've named our first Henrico Citizen Advisory Board, 15 Henricoans who will serve one-year volunteer terms to help provide input, ideas, and feedback about our coverage. We created this board as a way to deepen our connections within the county, and we want to ensure that there are open lines of communication between us and communities and groups from all over the county. We were really overwhelmed with the response when we launched the call for applications a few months ago. We received almost 90 applications, and we selected 3 board members from each of the county's 5 magisterial districts, 8 men and 7 women. They reside in 11 different zip codes, and they range in age from 23 to 74. 8 are white, 5 are black, and 2 are Asian, which generally reflects the population breakdown of the county itself. We plan to have the board meet at least once a quarter to provide input and engage in discussion about possible topics of coverage. It may also take on additional roles to be determined. And you can visit henricocitizen.com and click on Community to read more about each of our 15 new board members. The Enrichmond Foundation recently partnered with Howard Wellman Conservation to create a comprehensive preservation plan for historic Evergreen and East End cemeteries. They serve as the final resting place for thousands of people who faced segregation, discrimination, and racial violence. Wellman has spent nearly half of his career focused on historic cemetery preservation. The announcement came 3 months after the Friends of East End Cemetery, a volunteer group that had hosted regular cleanups of the cemetery, opted to cease its involvement at that site after it was unable to reach an agreement with Enrichmond. Each side faulted the other for the contentious end to their relationship. If you want to learn more about the cemeteries, visit enrichmond.org/evergreen-cemetery. Job seekers who meet low income and residency qualifications can now train to gain experience while they get paid through the AARP Foundation's Senior Community Service Employment Program. Options include remote at-home training and on-site host agency community service training. If you want to learn more, you can call the foundation at 355-3600. Today's Henrico News Minute has been brought to you by Henrico County's Broadband Survey. Henrico County is gathering information about internet access and speed in various locations throughout the county and needs your help. You can visit speedtest.henrico.us to participate.